because it was such a hot in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Whew, man. So, you can't help but come outside and, later on, I've been out here since like 8:30 when the sun went down and the cool breeze just came to take over. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, God. It's a really beautiful Saturday night. Look, this is not going to be a long one. I just saw something on YouTube and I saw it on Instagram and I saw it on Facebook. This video that's going around of this son, 19-year-old son. He took it upon himself to go behind his mother's back to get a DNA test and to find out who his real dad was. And y'all know that is a huge problem in this country, that a lot of young people, period, as a young man, are not being told who their actual fathers are, and they can feel that void. They know something's not right. And so he went and got the DNA. If you can see in the video, it's in the description box. Shout out to the Phillip Scott show. That's where I got the video from. And his commentary on it's pretty cool. The young man was like, "Yeah, Mom, went and did it." And she was like, "What you mean? What, you went behind my back?" He said, "Well, yeah, and I'm grown now. I'm 19. I'm grown. Something I wanted to do." And so he had already given her the paper, obviously, before the video started rolling. He edited the video to that part. But she was very visibly and verbally upset with him, because she said, "You were behind my back," and he said, "Yeah," but then she tells him, I told you who your daddy was. You should just stay with that. I told you." He said, "Well, Mom," and this is the part that got me, because it was so familiar. Same thing happened to me. He said, "But Mom, I didn't feel a bond with that man. I didn't feel a bond either." And so, and I guess because this story kind of hits home for me, and probably so many others. And he was telling her, and he was very calm, very respectful to her. He said, "Yeah, Mom." And they said, "I called him." I said, "You called him?" I said, "Yeah, what did he say?" She said, "What did he say?" I said, "Well," he said, "Yeah, son." He said, "Yeah, I knew that you were my son. I just always felt like he was my son." And it just made her even more upset. But see, "I told you it's your dad. You should have stuck with it. You stuck with that. Behind my back and everything. So I told you." Oh, she just went off. She was acting as if she was the victim. And, and that story is so familiar to so many of us. And we don't understand, or parents don't understand, that when something like that is kept from the children, that leaves a void. That creates an opening, a hole in their soul and their heart, because they're always wondering, where is the other part of me, especially if they grew up without one. They're wondering, who is my dad? Or in my case, you in this young man's case as well, you're going to tell me that this guy is my dad, and I didn't feel the bond. And when I found out by accident, at age 22, I was happy. I was relieved, because I said, I know I cannot be related to this donkey of a human being. But also, that elation turned into sadness. I felt betrayed. It's like I felt stupid. I felt I had no name. I didn't have an identity. And so that went the track of like, damn, but who is he? And I had a conversation with Mom, and she was a little upset that my aunt spilled the beans, but eventually we were able to come together as adults and have a conversation about it. That began the process of me finding out who he is. She lended her all that she knew, what she could, and her resources to the process. And but I want to say to anyone, 19-year-olds, 29-year-olds, 50-year-olds, whatever, if you're curious about who your dad is, don't be curious anymore. AfricanAncestry.com. Or you can go to Walgreens, CVS, Walmart may carry them, but you can go and get a DNA test. And if it's a guy that they say could be or whatever, you don't have to go to paternity court and all that. You don't have to be hauled off into child support court to do all that. We live in a time of handheld drones. We live in a time of iPhone 15 Pro and social media, TikTok, YouTube. There's too much technology out there for us to not know who we are. And you don't have to ask the mother anymore. You don't have to, the woman who you got pregnant, you don't have to hear anything from her. You go and get the DNA test. If you feeling a little bit kind of off kilter about it, you don't have to fuss with her. Because I find it amazing that so many young men get into these arguments and these fussing matches with the women who they know they had sex with. And if she came to you, you said, hey, you the father. There's no need to deny anything, especially if you participated in a sexual session with her. Why are you talking smart to her, sir? Why are you belittling her now? There's no need for that. There's no need. Just go and get the DNA test, okay? Go to the doctor's office. And by the way, for the cheapskates out there, to find out whether or not that child is yours or not, and find out if that person is your dad or not, AfricanAncestry.com, or something a little cheaper, Walgreens and CVS. And let's say if you have a newborn and you're not really sure, you don't have to tell her a thing. Just go to Walgreens, CVS, get you the test, swipe the little baby, little toddlers, little 8-year-old, whatever, swipe his or her mouth, swipe yours, and that's it. That's how you do it. It's time out for people wanting to know. And it should be made the law that no baby leaves the hospital without a specific and a specific determination of who that child's father is. It should be made public record. So even if the mom disagrees with it, at least it'll be public record where the child can know, well, who's my dad? My nephew, he passed away. He was killed about a couple of years ago now. He died not knowing who his dad was. And his mother just absolutely refused to give it to him. And I'm getting into the emotional aspect of it, because I told you how it took me out emotionally for a while. The shock and the feeling of emptiness that hit me. And also, it hit my nephew. He was hurting. But my sister would not get that man any information. And I don't like it when ladies take it personal as if it's something about you. No, it's not about you anymore. Once you make the choice to deliver that child, it's no longer about you. It's about that child's development, about that child's self-esteem, his sense of self-worth. Because our sense of self-worth and self-esteem are developed by who we identify with or who our parents are. We come here feeling, we don't have a mother or father, or particularly a father, that leaves a hole. But we somehow, in our community, in America, fatherhood is so shitted on that we don't think that's important. But we purposely ignore the developmental ramifications of the absence of a father. And so you have a lot of kids today who are emotionally messed up because they didn't have a dad and they want one. They see other kids with dads, all that kind of stuff. And so I think it should be a law. We should talk to our state legislators. Please make it mandatory that every child, there's a DNA done. Blood test is done. When y'all pull that core out, that umbilical cord, that core, test the blood right then and there. Test it. And if the dad is there or if a member of the dad's family is there, test them. If the dad, you can't find them, test them. Hell. Because it makes no sense for children to keep coming here without a father. And I understand other circumstances that could happen. I get that. So I want to just send this out to the young people out there, middle age or older, who found out, hey, damn, that's not my dad, or is that my child? You found out later. I want you to know that I understand you. I understood that young man in that video, in his voice, when he said I didn't feel a bond, and I had to know. I felt what he was talking about. And so much what I did with my disappointment, with my hurt, I wrote it down. I wrote it down, and I just wrote it down. It turned out to be 50 pages of this little manuscript here, or I call it a short story, just 50 pages. I put the picture on it. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt Conversation with the absent biological father who never wanted to be found. I eventually got to meet him. It wasn't that pleasant of a meeting, but I'm glad that I got to see him in person, to hear my actual voice, to see Lord Jesus where my body came from. That's why I try to stay in the gym and at least do some push-ups. I'm like, damn, Mom, at least could have got somebody who had a physique on him. I'm just up this little ass body, and I have to go to the gym to make up for what that little bastard did have. But if you like a copy of my story, you like to hear more about it, it's in that manuscript, or not manuscript, but it's a short story. I have it in a PDF format. It's only $10. My Cash App is in the description box, and my PayPal. If you're having to send it by Zelle, that's in the description box as well. Please send me, email me, send me something through I guess YouTube. Send me your email address, because if you make a PayPal or especially a Cash App payment, please include an email address so I can email you a PDF copy of this short story. I appreciate you for listening to this video, and I appreciate you even more when you like, share, and subscribe, because this is the message I think that really needs to get out. It's your man Rico, the Opinionist. Thank you so much. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.